I would like to invite you to park, not your cars, but your ego outside the door. And to step out of your head space and drop into your heart space. Because your heart, according to recent research, is 5,000 times stronger magnetically than your brain. But even without the research, I know how it feels when my heart is engaged. We all know how it feels. When your heart is in something, you become an unstoppable force that can move mountains. And whatever we focus on, it grows. So when you focus on the positives, it also grows. And we are what we think. We're actually the way we breathe. And we're also how we feel in our everyday lives. And in light of this, because the heart is so powerful, the only way for you to connect with it is to actually be in flow. It's to be present. The ancient philosopher Lao Tzu said, if you're the type of person that worries all the time and you have depressive thoughts, you're probably living in the past. But if you're the sort of person who's really stressed about next week, even tomorrow, then you're probably living in the future. It's called anxiety. And I found it really disturbing that about 29% of Malaysians, and there are probably a lot more than that are not putting their hands up and coming forward, apparently suffer from anxiety, even depression. And that's a pretty serious statistic. So before we even start, knowing how powerful the electromagnetic field of the heart is, I would like to invite all of you to close your eyes and place your hands in the center of your chest and take a deep inhale. And as you exhale out through your mouth, just letting go all of that tension, grounding your energy. Take another deep inhale. Exhale, release, like a big sigh. And I want you to focus on your heart, imagining that your heart is lighting up like a glow-in-the-dark heart. And it is starting to pulse with this brilliant light. Now, if you can just imagine that this light was a feeling of love, a feeling of peace and well-being, even compassion, imagining it spreading across your entire body, so much so it's even lighting up your hair, your cheeks, it's relaxing all the muscles in your back, all the way down to the soles of your feet. Take another deep inhale. Let me hear you sigh. Just letting go. Now I want you to imagine that there is a beautiful, majestic door right before your eyes. And to think for a moment of a person in your life you deeply, deeply love, and you have a profound, immense gratitude for. Think about the journeys that you have been on because of this person who means so much to you. And now take an inhale. As you exhale, the door flings open, and I want you to imagine that that person is standing right there, from your eyes to theirs, making that energetic connection, feeling your heart is glowing with all of this light, so much love, that the light starts to spread like laser beams across this entire space, and especially to this person. And imagining looking into their eyes and really reflecting on how much they've done for you to this point. And from your heart, saying thank you as you're looking into their eyes. Taking in this moment, allowing thoughts to just float away, connecting with gratitude, connecting with your heart. One more last deep inhale. Exhale, release. And you can gently open your eyes. So I'm here today to speak about the power of being in flow. So what is flow? It's not just meditators, CEOs, people who do visualizations that access this state. In fact, Bruce Lee once said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." You see, when a martial artist is in training, they are completely engaged in that state. They are totally focused, and they're able to do the same thing over and over again because they're riding that wave of momentum. So according to Mihai, I apologize, I cannot pronounce his last name, but it's on my slide. This is a mental state where there is an energized focus. There is a complete absorption in the activity of what you are doing, almost like a rider and a horse that becomes one. So you're so immersed, but you're actually feeling also a kind of spontaneous joy. So it's also associated with effortless action. Who are the types of people that can get into a state of flow? Well, golfers. They use tunnel vision to focus on their shots. You have inventors who are working on a breakthrough. Think of people like Walt Disney, and they cannot stop. It's the same when you're working on a presentation. You do not want to be distracted because everything else fades away. You've got musicians, dancers. They even did a study on classical pianists and said that when they were in a state of flow, their blood pressure and heart rates were reduced. And interestingly, even the major facial muscles relaxed. So though they were concentrating, the body wasn't tight, which also tells me your body, it never lies. You will not get the best performance out of a person if they're in a state of stress or if they're feeling really tight. It's that flow. And then you've also got Michelangelo. There are historical reports which said that he actually painted sometimes for days without wanting to sleep or eat because he was completely immersed in the creation of his art. It is almost as if you're in this alternate state of consciousness. So what actually stops us from being in flow? Well, stress. It really doesn't help. We're living in a world that's moving so fast that we need to find ways now to actually slow down. So I resonated when Jack Ma, he said, sometimes slow means fast. Because in a workplace, when you are in a state of flow, you've got an ideal state for heightened productivity. And the people who know about this are trying to anchor it in their workforce because a happier, more engaged workforce is a happier one. So when Jack Ma said that sometimes, yes, you do need to slow down because slow means fast, I thought it's true. So many things point to us needing to slow down in order to speed up. In fact, he actually runs his business. If he had to summarize it, it would be 3 words. And it's according to Tai Chi principles. And the first one is calm. No matter what you're going through in your life, if you are able, in the face of any challenge, to stay calm, you're really one step ahead already. You've got an edge if you can remain calm. And next, follow. Know your strengths. Know when to follow your strength, the way you would flow with a river, because it takes less effort rather than to flow against it. So follow is also linked to flow, This could be in your relationships. Are you holding on too tight? Do you know when to abandon? So this is the last one. And it can be applied to any area of your life. He said, know when to abandon the burden. Know when to let go. A kind of surrender. Again, the body is not tight. It knows how to release all that tension so that it's more present. You can't be in a state of flow if you're not present. So if you find yourself stressed and anxious every day, living in the future, or depressed and worried about your past, it means you are not here, right now. So what happens when you're in a state of flow? They say that they are in a kind of ecstasy. So that got me thinking, what is ecstasy? And I researched it. It comes from an ancient Greek word, ekstasis. And ek means to go beyond, to step outside. And stasis is stagnant. So even ecstasy suggests that you need to step away from the ego. You need to think out of the box. In fact, don't even think, because they say that ecstasy is linked to your mind being removed from its normal place of function. And guess what? When you are in a state of flow, you're experiencing transient hypofrontality. Hypo, not hyper. Hypo means that the prefrontal cortex of your brain is actually slowing down. Your decision-making, that judgmental inner critic, your analysis, your logical mind slows down. And what happens is you cannot, at that moment, really think too much about yourself. It's like the musician, right? Because they are so immersed in the moment, they've lost the sense of self. They become a part of the activity. They are experiencing transient hypofrontality. And you've all seen singers. I mean, it brings tears to my eyes, that emotion. There's hardly a singer in the world that doesn't close their eyes because they have to screen all of us out because they're so focused on that moment. So it's really all connected to slowing down. And this is why when I checked myself into a monastery, just because I was curious about whether I could survive in silence, because my parents said that I couldn't stop talking from the moment I was born. And I said, well, you know what? This is something I want to do because I'm fascinated by the power of the mind. And meditation, it blew my mind because it really was a way that you could trigger off alpha brainwaves. And it wasn't just meditation that helps you to clear away all that stress and anxiety. It helped you to connect with yourself. And when you connect with your breath, you're connecting with the moment because your breath is like a bridge that carries you, that helps you to tap into your subconscious mind. So this is why I'm now even teaching people how to breathe. And though we breathe all the time, we don't necessarily breathe in a way that helps us to relax. In fact, when you hear disturbing news, what's the first thing that you do? You take a rapid inhale when you're shocked. But what happens when you are relieved? Thank goodness. You sigh because it's related to your parasympathetic nervous system. So if there's something I would say, is if you double the ratio of your exhale, that would already reduce your blood pressure. They've done clinical studies on this. So if you try right now for me, take an inhale for 3 counts, and very slowly breathe out from your nose for 6. See how even a one breath can already affect you. This is the power of meditation. This is also why I've become a sound healer, because sound vibrations is all energy. It helps us to completely relax and drop into that present moment, the alpha brainwave state that meditation and sound healing triggers. for deep states of relaxation. So with that, I wanted to just leave you with one of the first memories I have of being in a state of flow. I kind of discovered one of the secrets to happiness when I had my tap shoes on. So I'm wearing them right now, and I just wanted to leave you with a little bit of tap because it brings me into flow. And I think you've got to work out what it is that's going to make you flow more in life and to make you feel more present. Do whatever works for you. Because if you don't love your life, nobody can do it for you.